Well, welcome back to the heart of the Bear Factory. This is Pawsitive Impact, the show that talks about making teddy bears with a purpose. My name is Rob Johnson. Joining me as always, Jimmy, Jerry. Welcome back, fellas.
Thanks,
Morning.
Rob.
How's it going?
Good.
It's
Real
been a
good.
while.
Yeah, it's been a summer.
It's been a while and it's been a summer. So, it's nice to come back after this break and just kind of do a recap of how things have been. So in the pre-show we were talking, this is like a state of the union, how things are going. It's been a wild year with tariffs and product and inventory and expansion. So I'll kick it to you, Jimmy, and give us a rundown on how things have been.
It's been definitely an interesting summer to say the least, just given how the spring shaped up with the tariffs that was going on. And, I'm thankful that I had Jerry's support and just bouncing ideas because for me, this disruption that we've had even since 2020, I've been involved with the company for 8 years now, full time, and I basically had 2 years of normalcy, and then of like how this industry should be, and then COVID hit, and then you have the 2021, 2022 supply chain issues, and then things felt okay, and now we roll into tariffs. So my career in this industry has pretty much just been complete disruption, and it's kind of just like what I'm used to. And I feel for Jerry and all of our people that we work with who are seasoned professionals with 20, 30 years of experience with global logistics, global supply chain, and I feel like every time I talk to them, they're just like completely beside themselves, and people have quit, people have retired, and it's just kind of like unprecedented times, to say the least. So I definitely would say we've had sleepless nights, but the good thing is that we've been operating under this 30% tariff hold for the last couple of months, and it was extended to mid-November?
November 12th.
November 12th. There's supposed to be like, all right, what's the long-term solution going on? And originally we were planning on only having 3 months to kind of like prepare ourselves for whatever that next step was going to be. But given the extra time till November was very much welcomed, because we've been able to bring in, inventory levels that are at a 10-year high right now. And, we have enough to get us through the holidays. We have stable pricing that we can offer that customers can count on, where we were just super volatile with everything going on earlier this year. But I feel good about it. How do you feel?
Well, it's almost impossible to do business under these kinds of conditions. If you look at having to figure out 20%, 30% tariff, 154% tariff, and then it gets downgraded to a 30%. So we thought, okay, now we have a handle on it, and then it was extended to the November 12th. What happens then? So trying to run a business under those kinds of conditions is almost an impossible job. If you look at what we had to do to get the inventory into our warehouse into the United States before the August 12th deadline, we were moving stuff. Normally we move stuff from our containers through Vancouver and then rail it into Michigan. We had to bring it in through LA, and then from LA we were trucking it at a almost double cost, that we had to eat just to be able to get it into the United States on US soil, to avoid if there was going to be another increase in tariffs. So, we really took it on the chin. It was a very, very tough time financially. The thing that I don't really understand is when the administration says that, this is somebody else is paying for this, that is absolutely not true. This company, our company, is the one that is paying 100% of the tariffs. And, we pass on a very small percentage of that, add on, trucking the containers in and all of those things. And then we just found out that our bond, which we've had for 25 years, a standardized cost bond, all of a sudden now, because of the tariffs and the amount of millions of dollars that we're paying in tariffs, we now have to have a higher bond. So it just keeps on rolling out more and more expenses on a company-wide basis. So it's a very, very tough environment that we're in. We're hoping for some kind of information that's going to stabilize us, because I don't understand how people can run businesses under the conditions that we're in right now and how they can continue to make decisions moving forward. I can understand why people would go out of business, because it takes some really strong, aggressive moves to be able. Thank goodness we were in a financial situation where we can put the millions of dollars into tariffs. We don't get those back. It's a write-off that we have to eat and in some way try to pass as minimal amount of that on to our customer base.
As we're recording this right now, it's mid-September. We're less than 60 days away from that deadline. Is there any indication on which way it may go when we get into November?
Absolutely zero.
Yeah, there's no for sure thing, but like what we've heard is like we can look at Vietnam. Like Vietnam is at 20% right now. They're at a 20% tariff right now. I don't know what Cambodia's set at, but there's all these other countries around that do have, at least that's relevant to us, that do have the ability to manufacture plush. So I would say if these other countries can lock in these trade deals that are below the 30%, that at least from like being glass half full, an optimistic view, we would hope that China can't go much further or allow much further than the 30%. We're not walking out of this without a tariff. Like we've said that for months. Like we will always have a tariff. It's just a matter of how high can it go, and hopefully that there's trade deals around Asia that are being locked in. Hopefully that'll keep the China tariff down. And then worst case scenario, we just have to leave China and go and establish, at other facilities. Like we've identified a handful of facilities that that we can work with, but you're just looking at, you're still going to look at costs for transportation, because we still have to source all the material from China to whatever that new location is out of country. And then timeline, it takes another 30 days to transport those materials to the factory. So you're tacking on another 30 days to your production time. So, it kind of is what it is. That's why we've just stockpiled as much as product as we possibly can right now. Nick, our warehouse supervisor, he's had come to me multiple times with his eyes just huge, like, how many containers are coming? And I'm like, yeah, we're taking 6 this week. He goes, what, where are we going to put it? And well, we're going to move this, we're going to move that. And Jerry was like a mastermind at our last building. We literally had aisles that were 4.5 feet wide or less, we're probably 5 feet because we had to get the high-low down, just big enough to get the high-low down. And here we've been spoiled where you have 6-foot aisles, and they fluctuate depending on what the inventory is. Well, we're back down to those tight aisles right now, and that's why we felt confident in being able to maximize our square footage back there. But Nick, I feel bad for him, because I'll just tell him yeah, we have 6 now, we have 6 in another week and a half, we have this and that. And it is a bit of a gamble because we are at capacity and we have more coming. So what we're betting on is sales increasing and getting back to where they were. We're definitely up on the year, gross sales wise.
Which is, a staggering statement that anybody is up under the current, retail, positions that people are out there. So it really is. And one other thing, though, Jimmy, that, when we look at how we were supported by the factories in China, they had to move their pricing down, for us to be able to even stay in business.
Yeah.
So, hats off to them. Yes, we know it's China, we know all of that, but they were also affected over there too, where I would tell you probably 50 to 60% of the plush factories in China went out of business.
Really?
Completely out of business. aren't even available to do work in anymore. So, they lowered their price, which allowed us to have a lower cost, of tariff, fees, and that really helped us out a lot.
Yeah, it's been the main question is how do we how do we keep our doors open? And it's been this delicate balancing act of how do you support your supply chain partners? How can we keep our staff here?
Yeah.
And how can we bring product in to support our customers? And it's just been this like pulling tug of war between everything that I feel grateful looking back at it now, being able to sit here where we're at today. But I mean, we're like not making any money this year. Yeah, sales are up, but we're as a company, like we're helping pay off the national debt. It drives me crazy when I see headlines and it's like, we've collected X amount of millions of dollars, trillions of dollars in tariffs from China. I'm like, that is the most annoying thing because you haven't collected anything from them. You've collected it from us, the small businesses that are being impacted by this, that are, just hardworking families.
It's literally our profit.
Yeah.
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 It's our profit for an entire 9 months of doing business under all of the stress and strain that we've had, and that's the reward that we have.
Why do you think there's such a disassociation with how tariffs actually function from country to country and from the governmental policy to, what you guys execute?
He is right. The president is right in the fact that we were not treated fairly in a lot of different countries, that we were ripped off, to use the word, by what we were being charged a tariff for our goods from the United States coming in. And all it's really trying to do is shore it up and make it standardized as best you can. I understand that certain countries, have a certain way of doing business, but the system was broken. It's bad when a business owner like myself and Jimmy, that we sit here and we go, wow, we're really getting hammered, but it's also has to be fixed.
Yeah.
And so,
well, the problem is there's no equality in the industries that are being tariffed on both sides because the import and export is not equal. It's not like we are shipping teddy bears to China.
That's correct.
And they're shipping them back to us.
That's
It's only a one-way street. So you have this level of industries in China that are being assessed, the American businesses that are being assessed over in China by their tariffs, and they're not equal at all. So there is no true offset other than just the top level capital.
I mean, when you look at the big ones, let's talk auto, steel, aluminum, we understand those because we shipped most of that stuff out of here. Yeah, we do move autos, but look at all the autos from Japan that were coming in at no tariff.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when our cars go to Japan, there's a high tariff. So that's where the system was broken.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to be able to try to fix the system. Could it have went way worse than it is right now? Yeah. It really, it could have disrupted the whole economy worldwide. The fact that it didn't, tells you that other countries really do want to play with the United States. But from a financial standpoint for this company, it's been a tough year.
Do you feel like it's a short-term pain, long-term gain scenario?
I wish I knew the answer to that one.
Yeah, and
because I could invest some money elsewhere.
Sure, and that's what I wonder is like it's awful to see it, and it's worse too because you mentioned like headlines, like how people look at it and their perspective is 100% incorrect. But that's what they're being sold, and that's what people think. It's like, yeah, tariffs are being great because we're getting ripped off. It's like, well, the mechanisms that we're using to deploy them aren't necessarily the best, nor is it clear for people like you where November is another, we're just going to brace and see what happens. And that's not a great way to run a company.
And you hear bits and pieces out there that it's going good, and then you hear it's going bad, and you're making these $10 million changes or decisions, every month.
Yeah.
You're making those decisions that, are dollars, are a lot of dollars. And,
Absolutely.
What happens if they move that tariff way up again? So let's say that China and the U.S. don't come together. and it goes back to 154%. It means all of the work that we did during this year, making zero money and now going out of business because you can't stay in business at 154%. It's going to be hard to stay in business at anything over 30.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, and right now, obviously sales are up on the year, which is offsetting the loss, and then inventory is at
But
capacity.
it's not offsetting the loss.
Okay.
Sales are up, which I don't know how, but they are. It just means Jimmy's done such a great job at bringing in, new customers and different things that, he's come up with. Mike, our sales manager, has done just a great job, moving out there in the world, a lot of the different new customers that we've got. So, that helps, but
Still a loss.
still a loss.
Yeah,
no
that
matter
makes
what.
sense. And then inventory is at capacity, as you were saying. So that's
So now you have, basically we have a devalued dollar that we as a company, because we have the tariffs that we're investing. So now like our buying power is pretty much devalued right now. And we've had to take that devalued amount and like backstock. Like we've almost up 40% our inventory levels.
Yeah.
Up 40%. So now you have to like reinvest money into bringing more inventory in, but now we're also flipping out all this tariff money. So it's just been this dance, and I mean, there's been some.
Well, we've been in a cash position for 20 years, where, we don't have any debt to anybody. All of a sudden, we went through 100% of all cash in the company, millions and millions and millions of dollars, to bring in more inventory. Now, all of that inventory that's in the warehouse is now on a tariff position, which means that tariff money doesn't come back to us until each and every one of those pieces in that warehouse are sold. So that's when we recoup that upfront dollar on a tariff. We're paying for it before it even hits our building, and we don't get the recovery on it until we sell that product and collect that sale. So that's the hard part.
Yeah, and right now, as we're going into the holiday season, the target is to move all the inventory as sales start to increase going into that season, and then having inventory going into the new year.
Yeah, we almost lost our holiday season last year because of supply chain issues with the East Coast port strike, and then we had 2 Canadian rail strikes, and then there was backups in Vancouver. So we almost lost our holiday season last year.
Now, our competitors did okay because they were in a more of an inventory position, which means they're probably smaller, but we have to have containers coming in every single week, multiple containers on a weekly basis. When you're in that position, your inventory runs out a lot quicker. And so they must have been in a more stocked position, which is what saved their Christmas. We saved it, but it was significantly down compared to where we would have been.
Yeah. Well, we had successful trade shows last year too, so we brought on new business, so it's hard to forecast. And so if we didn't bring on those customers, we probably would have been better. But because we did, that new customer base, it impacts you. But long story short, our point is we could not afford to not have a successful Christmas holiday season this year.
Yeah.
So it was it's what we had to do.
Makes sense.
Talk about a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
And for the people that watch that are customers, it's reassuring knowing that inventory is in a great position where it's the odds of running out of certain things are much, much lower.
Yeah, and we're seeing it's probably about a 3-week delay from where the holiday season starts. Our holiday season usually starts to kick in not this month, September. And it's really more like the last week or so that it's really starting to turn wheels again. And, I'm hearing great things from customers across multiple industries as far as they feel confident again. And, some people did really well over the outdoor, this past summer season. But generally we're starting to see even more people start to fire back up, which is great. You know, that makes us feel really confident to be able to close the year out and make decisions like going in. We have Chinese New Year in February coming up, so we want productions that want to ship before then. So it gives us more confidence to be able to like start to look at Q1, Q2 next year and make some some plays. But there is that November 12th date that we just still don't know.
Well, the
fully.
good thing is when it did slow down after tariffs hit and everybody freaked out a bit, it allowed us to take a look at our whole entire line, change every single item in our line back to original sizing. Because what happens in China is, our products are sewn. So there's a seam on every single, animal. And some factory will sew them a little bit bigger seamed. So that continually shrinks the animal. The fabric is all cut the same sizing, but it's how do they sew the product together. So we went and increased to take in consideration, how certain factory are sewing the seams, and we've increased. Some of ours are an inch, 2 inches larger in size back to its normal standard when the samples were originally made.
Yeah, the height and the volumes change. Like people may notice 16-inch fiber pack case counts have dropped from 80 pieces per unit to 65. The reason for that is we need to put more polyfiber fill into the fiber packs to fill the resized animals. The one downside is the Vortex stuffing machines, they're not able to stuff as many per fill, but it's because the sizing of the animal has increased. So having a effective mulching apparatus that can refill your machine and still volumize it is more important now than ever. And we're very thankful that a lot of that work was done this time last year when we really started to look at QC, and that product it started to get intake in the summer and it's being circulated now. So people are definitely going to see a size difference. And we've actually gotten calls where it's like, well, this size is smaller compared to this one. It's like, no, like we resized everything. Everyone's getting a better product, it's better quality, and the first question I get is, well, what's that going to cost me? And it's like nothing. Like prices are set. We made all these decisions before we went into 2025. Like this is what the pricing was going to be. This is what the sizing is. Like Jerry said, we did negotiations to decrease the pricing for like all of our materials and labor last year. So there's thankfully things that we did last year that insulated us a little bit for everything that we've dealt with this year. And I'm hoping that, the new resizing of all the plushies is something that our customers will start to see and notice, and also provide them with just like some reassurance that I've had a couple customers say, we're expecting plush to get smaller given the conditions and given the tariffs and everything like that. I'm like, no, we're going the other way. That's not who we are.
It will definitely put our competitors into a different position.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I think you guys, it seems like, again, I'm an outsider, so it seems like you're setting all of the right pieces in place well ahead of time, kind of preparing the field, so to speak, before the harvest. You're being much more proactive than reactive.
Until November 12th.
Until November 12th, and then everyone's going to react.
That's Christmas for us, or it's Black Friday.
And we have enough inventory where we have time, to make calculated decisions, and we have new supply chains set up. So we'll find out what happens then. And
just to clarify, the 1929 Black Friday, not the fun one that happens every November.
That's.
So I want to transition into something that I just learned about today, which is your guys' awards. Mm-hmm. So so started last year or the year prior?
Yep. So we started I love customer appreciation. I love giving customers an opportunity to call them out for all the great work that they're doing. So last year we started our Pawsitive Impact awards with various different categories to just kind of like nominate customers for. Two of the categories are self-nominated, and the other ones are kind of like decisions that we pick. So the categories that we have sustainability, we have collaboration excellence, we have a growth partner, we have a loyalty award, customer of the year, and then the one that I particularly love and care about is the Heart of Gold, which is in Renee's honor, just because obviously Renee is no longer here with us, but she just had the absolute biggest heart, and the foundation of just like love and respect and like what this company is and who we are as a family is from Renee. So being able to pick a customer that exemplifies like all those amazing qualities that Renee was all about is kind of like one of our favorite awards that we have. So we haven't been able to do a podcast announcement like this before. So this is the first time, which I had to take a couple notes just because there are so many different categories, and I want to make sure that we give enough spotlight to those that we've announced. Specifically, I'll start with the Sustainability Award. Obviously, sustainability is huge to us, and this particular customer is someone who we brought on last year with a full retail installation, and that particular customer who's winning the Sustainability Award this year is the Calgary Zoo. They're fantastic to work with. We had the opportunity to visit there a couple times last year during the whole build-out process, and there's a AZA, the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, had their trade show at Calgary last year, and they're just an amazing organization. Very happy to be able to present them with that award. We have next the Collaboration of Excellence Award. This specifically is just a company that we're doing like a unique project with, and this particular project that we've been working on for like the last 2 years, it's been a labor of love, and I'm really excited because this is a whole new product line that we're going to be able to release in November when we attend a trade show. So the winner of the Collaboration of Excellence Award is going to be Camp Jellystone. So we're super excited because we've been working with Camp Jellystone, who's like the franchisor for all of Jellystone campgrounds. Those are the franchisees across the country. We're going to be debuting a whole new plush line featuring Yogi and Boo Boo and Cindy. We've done a clothing line, and then we've even done custom skinned Jellystone themed stuffing machines as well.
That's cool.
So we're really excited about that. It's taken a long time, but it's going to be super fun to be able to go and present them with this award and launch that particular line. The next one is the Growth Partner Award. Growth Partner specifically has made significant investment into like their operation and what they're doing. This is actually a new customer of ours, so we traditionally don't see businesses making these types of investments, but Anderson Farms over in Colorado, they actually bought one of our trailers this year, and they kicked off their season a couple weeks ago, and it looks like they're just doing an amazing job. But really great family to work with. We love working with our agro-tourism, and the fact that they were able to get a trailer and incorporate it into their farm was just really cool to see, because we did like a custom wrap on it, and it's just super cool. So next we have our Loyalty Award. This traditionally goes to just a customer that has been with us for a really long time. I'll let you talk a little bit more just about the history, but this particular award is going to be going to Universe Tutu.
So Universe Tutu they're a Canadian company. They had 3 locations, one in Ottawa, one in Montreal, and I think one in Quebec. They came to our offices many years ago. We did a tremendous amount of business with them. And then the company was sold, and they have new owners. And we've now tried to work, we have worked with this company on all different levels. Again, they buy product from, a couple different companies. We just saw an opportunity. Let's take them under our wing, like they take us under their wing, and we really wanted to support them. So we're moving container directs into them, really, affecting their bottom line, and happy to do that out of China.
Yeah, it's been working with like Laura and team has been fantastic, just because it's a great example of how the tariffs like don't just impact domestic customers, it's impacting international customers too, because why would a Canadian customer want to pay for a US tariff that's been imposed? So what's the work around it? And the work around it is, trying to work with customers to send containers direct from the factory. And Universe Tutu has been fantastic with being able to, modify and be able to create a more like bespoke TBF Direct program. So just the fact that they've been such longtime customers of ours, but then also having new owners and us being able to lean into them and them lean into us has been just a fantastic relationship. So being able to give them that loyalty award is fantastic. And then the next one we have is Customer of the Year, which we are going to be presenting that to the Memphis Zoo. Memphis Zoo, amazing people over there that we work with, and they also did like a retail installation this year as part of prep for like a whole new expansion that they're doing on property. And they've just been knocking it out of the ballpark, and they're super happy. And at the end of the day, like what's great about all these award winners is like they're just good people to work with. And I think that's what's just really important to emphasize, is that we appreciate when our customers are understanding, and especially during a year like this year where times can get tough, you really find out who your real customers are and who are not.
Sure.
So congratulations to Memphis Zoo on Customer of the Year. And then the final award is the Heart of Gold Award in Renee's honor, that we're going to be presenting to a company called Andrew's Laughing Gas. This is a nonprofit where they actually take our plushies and put little fart sound modules inside of them, and they go to hospitals and give these plushies to children that are going through cancer treatment. And they squeeze it, and the plush farts, and the kids are laughing, and it's Andrew's Laughing Gas. So
That's awesome.
there's an amazing story behind the organization, but just being able to call out groups like that we work with, there's so many of them. I'm thankful that we're able to point out, at least one of those specific instances every year. But congratulations to Andrew's Laughing Gas for the Heart of Gold Award this year.
Yeah.
But that wraps up the Positive Impact Awards for this year. Any questions? I know I kind of like ripped through that because the episode went like a little long, but
No, I think it's great that you guys do the awards and you really take the time to look at your customers, and that has to be a very rewarding thing for them to hear all of that. And I love what you guys have done to honor Renee with the Heart of Gold Award, and what a great nonprofit. So I know as we'll go through here, we'll link everybody in the show notes who want to learn more about those customers. They certainly can. Before we close, I want to get into the plushie of the week once a quarter when we do the podcast.
Yeah.
So who do we have today?
Yep. So this is going to be Spark Scale the Dragon. I'm pretty sure Kia's already renamed it, but on the box it's Spark Scale right now. So, but dragons have been like super popular. We had Storm the Dragon that we debuted last year. And I just think it's cool. We've talked about having like a black dragon for a really long time, but Araya officially claimed this, that the reason why we need to rename it is this is a water dragon. So she said that the blue, between the blue eyes and the blue on the wings, it's a water dragon. So I don't think Spark Scale is going to do well in the water, but I just think it's cool because I love the details. Specifically, this is actually one of my first shots at utilizing AI for product creation. So this is actually a product of like how we're integrating AI throughout the company, and not to do like a super long spot, but integrating AI throughout the company for like various processes, and one of those being the like design and innovation side of it too. So I think what's great about him is he is one of our first, utilizes AI as part of that design and development side of it. So yeah, that's Spark Scale the Water Dragon.
No, it's super timely. My kids are all into How to Train Your Dragon. I think there was a live action one that just came out. So
Yeah.
the time is right. So very good. Fellas, anything else before we close?
No, that's great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for taking the time to give everyone the updates. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up Positive Impact for this week. We'll be back in a few weeks with a new episode. Take care.